Sarvadharmastapakatvam sarvadharmaswarupakaha acharyanam mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya te namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. And Sri Ramakrishna, through that beautiful experience he had of watching that water snake catching hold of the bullfrog, and both into that most uncomfortable situation. Water snake catching bullfrog, it can't kill him because there is no poison in water snake. And the bullfrog, so miserably croaking and crowing, endless croaking, it can't get out of that clutches of the water snake, nor it can die, nor that croaking can stop. So Sri Ramakrishna says, this is what happens when a teacher who has not received command from God starts teaching others, like the water snake catching the bullfrog. Both are in misery, both are suffering. There is no end to it. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, had that snake been a cobra, 3 croaks, that's it. And the bullfrog would have gone, the cobra would have swallowed the bullfrog, that was it. If a competent teacher starts teaching, it will have some effect. Otherwise, both the teacher and the student, both the guru and the shishya, there is endless suffering. Both, it is a downfall for both of them, Sri Ramakrishna says. So, if the disciple falls into clutches of an incompetent teacher, then he doesn't attain liberation. As simple as that, Sri Ramakrishna says. First get the command from the God and then start teaching, start preaching, start giving lectures. So this and all this thing is because without God realization, the so-called teachers, they get into teaching others, especially on the spiritual path. One should never do it. First realize God. And then VIJAY Krishna Goswami, he is very concerned about Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. So he wants to know that why are we bound like this? Why don't we see God? He says, we are making an effort, but we are not able to see God. We are not able to realize God, and therefore we are not able to get His command. Why is it happening like this? So he wants an answer. VIJAY Krishna Goswami wants a solution to this dilemma. Why is it that we are trapped? Why is it that we are not able to get that backing from the God? We are not able to get that support for that power from the God to teach others. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that Maya is nothing but egotism of the embodied soul. Now Sri Ramakrishna had told that if it is a competent teacher, if it is a cobra catching hold of the bullfrog, in 3 croaks the bullfrog will die, the ego will get crushed in totality by a competent teacher. So Sri Ramakrishna is now bringing that point of egotism. Why we are not able to get this God vision, why we are not able to get this God realization. Sri Ramakrishna says it is because of this ego, this wretched ego that we possess. Now Sri Ramakrishna is further elaborating on this ego. Maya is nothing but the egotism of the embodied soul. This egotism has covered everything like a veil. This egotism has blinded us. It has covered everything by a veil. All the troubles come to an end when the ego dies, Sri Ramakrishna says. All the troubles come to an end when a competent teacher catches the disciple. A cobra catches the croak within the bullfrog. Within 3 croaks, bullfrog is gone. So Sri Ramakrishna says, with competent teacher, all troubles come to an end when the ego dies. This can only happen when one gets a competent teacher like Sri Ramakrishna. If by the grace of God, man but once realizes that he is not the doer, then he at once becomes Jivanmukta. The moment a man has this realization that he is not the doer, God is the ultimate doer. Like he had told brother of Surendra that don't think you are in that position. Somebody higher authority has put you in that position. You are not the doer. Doer is someone else. You are just an instrument. You are just a chariot. There is a charioteer who is making the chariot move. The moment you get that understanding, by the grace of God, a man but once realizes that he is not the doer, then he at once becomes a Jivanmukta. Then he gets liberation instantaneously. Though living in the body, he is liberated, and then he has nothing else to fear. Once he realizes, I am insignificant. Once he realizes there is a strong powerhouse behind him, which is making him run around, which is making him pull across, then there is no worry for that man, because he gets into that attitude of total Sharanagati. He surrenders himself at the lotus feet of the Lord, because he knows, I am nothing. I am just a charioteer. I am just a puppet in the hands of a puppeteer. The way he makes me move, I am moving. That's it. That is the realization. And Sri Ramakrishna says, the moment you get that realization, ego just gets crushed. This Maya, that is to say, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, this Maya, that is to say, the ego is like a cloud. The sun cannot be seen on account of a thin patch of cloud. When that disappears, one sees the sun. If by the grace of the Guru, one's ego vanishes, then one sees God. If by the grace of Guru, if by the grace of Cobra, if that bullfrog croaking comes to an end in 3 croaks, that ego is gone forever. That unripe ego, that wretched ego is eliminated once for all. But for that you need a competent teacher who has the authority from God, who has the command from God, and who has the power backing his teaching, power received from the God. Now Sri Ramakrishna gives another example of how this Maya, how this veil, it obstructs our clarity of the vision. Ram, who is God himself, was only 2.5 cubits ahead of Lakshmana. Now the brothers and Sita, Ram, Lakshmana and Sita, they were walking in the forest when they were in exile. Rama was moving ahead. Lakshmana, distance between Rama and Lakshmana was just 2.5 cubits. But Lakshmana couldn't see him because Sita stood between. Ahead was Ram, then was Sita, and then Lakshman. Now, because Sita was in between, Lakshman couldn't have the vision of his dear brother, beloved brother. He couldn't see him properly. He couldn't see him clearly because Sita was in between. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, but Lakshmana couldn't see him because Sita stood between them. Lakshmana may be compared to the jiva. This poor soul is Lakshman. Sita is Maya. Now this poor soul actually wants to see the great soul, to see the Satchidananda, to see the Paramatman. The Atman wants to see the Paramatman, but Sita Mai, the Mahamaya, she has put on that veil in between. So the Jivatman cannot see the Paramatman. Man cannot see God on account of barrier of Maya. Just look. Now Sri Ramakrishna actually gives them the practical example. He says, just look. I am creating a barrier in front of my face with this towel. He took a towel and put it in front of his face and is telling these devotees, I have put on this barrier of a towel in front of my face. I am so near to you, but still you can't see me. I am creating a barrier in front of my face with this towel. Now you can't see me, although I am so close to you. The barrier has hidden me behind it. So you are sitting right in front of me, but you can't see me. Now you can't see me even though I am so near. Likewise, God, who is the nearest of all, we cannot see him on account of this covering of Maya. God is the nearest. there is nothing near in this world than the Paramatman. Very much here, but we are not able to see because of that Maya, because of the ego created by Maya. Jiva is nothing but embodiment of Satchidananda. We all are embodiment of Satchidananda, Sri Ramakrishna says. But since Maya or ego has created various upadhis, the ego has created so many appearances. Upadhi is basically appearance or a facade-like, an artificial appearance which is not there, an impermanent appearance which has no permanence in it. But still, that barrier, that upadhi, it prevents us from seeing face to face the Paramatma. But since Maya or ego has created various upadhis, he has forgotten his real self. Sri Ramakrishna sitting right in front, but with the towel in between. Devotees can't see him. Maya, it prevents our access to Satchidananda, to the God who is so very near to us. Each upadhi changes man's nature. All these appearances, the moment we start picking up these appearances during our journey, I am so and so, I am son of so and so, I belong to such a family, I belong to such a caste, I belong to such family lineage. All these upadhis, they are creating these barriers. Each upadhi changes man's nature, and accumulation of all these artificial facades, all these temporary the images that we create on ourselves, each image, it changes our appearance for that matter. And then Sri Ramakrishna gives an example that if each upadhi changes man's nature. If he wears a fine black bordered cloth, a nice cloth, silken cloth, black bordered and all that, which is kind of an aristocratic way of wearing clothes, you will at once find that man humming Nidhi Babu's love songs. Immediately his total appearance changes. He puts on a fine black bordered cloth and suddenly he starts humming love songs, Nidhi Babu's love songs. Then playing cards, walking stick follow, all his styles, so-called mannerisms, they also keep on changing the moment the person starts picking up different habits and different outlooks. If even a sickly man puts on high shoes, high boots, like Europeans, like Englishmen, even a person is sickly in appearance, the moment he puts on those high boots, his entire mannerisms will change. He begins to whistle and climb the stairs like an Englishman, jumping from one step to another. Then there is no more that cautious climbing the step by step. No, like Englishmen, they jump, they cross over from step to step. If a man but holds a pen in his hand, he scribbles on any paper he can get hold of. Such is the power of pen. Such is the power of these upadhis. The moment we pick up some kind of upadhi, we totally change our mannerisms. We change the way we behave. And these upadhis, these egos, they bring our downfall. Money is also a great upadhi, Sri Ramakrishna says. All these things. And this he is especially talking from the advice from his teaching of lust and greed. People are so much tempted by money. Sri Ramakrishna says the moment a person starts earning money, his mannerisms change. The way his behavior changes, his outlook changes. The moment he starts running after money. And then he gave an example that possession of money makes such a difference to man, he is no longer the same person. And then he gives an example. He says a Brahmin used to frequent temple garden of Dakshineshwar. He was a simple, ordinary Brahmin, and that time he used to pay respect to all others. He was humble. He was a pious. He was a very low-key kind of a Brahmin who used to give proper respect to others out of humility, out of his humble nature. Now, Sri Ramakrishna says that once I went to Konagar. Konagar is a place in Calcutta. I went to Konagar with VIJAY. No sooner did we get off the boat, we noticed this Brahmin seated there on the bank of Ganges. And we thought he had been enjoying the fresh air. We thought this poor Brahmin, he must have come to the bank of the river Ganges to enjoy the fresh air. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, the moment he looked at us. He said, "Oh, hello there, priest. How do you do?" His total mannerism has changed. What a humble, what a lowly person he was at one point of time, paying respect to each and everyone. Now suddenly his tone has changed, his mannerism has changed. "Oh, hello, priest." Now he's addressing Sri Ramakrishna. "Oh, priest. Hello, priest. How do you do?" See the change in tone. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that I marked his tone and said to VIJAY that this man must have got some money. That is why now he's talking to us in this way, in this tone, in this arrogant kind of behavior. Money makes the changes. Money brings the downfall of the spiritual journey. So Sri Ramakrishna says, one can get rid of ego only after attainment of knowledge. He gives an example of a frog. He says a frog had a rupee. One small frog, not the bullfrog, a small frog, he got 1 rupee somewhere. And which he kept in his hole. One day an elephant was going over the hole, and the frog, coming out of it in a fit of anger, raised his foot as if to kick the elephant and said, "How dare you walk over my head?" Such is the pride money begets. I'm giving an example of a frog challenging elephant because he had 1 rupee with him, and that changed all his attitude, that changed all his mannerisms, that he went on to shout at the elephant, "How dare you are going to crush me? I have money with me." So Sri Ramakrishna says that money is the biggest roadblock on this path of spirituality. So Sri Ramakrishna says finally that one can get rid of ego after attainment of knowledge. Once attaining knowledge, one goes into samadhi and the ego disappears. What is knowledge? Knowledge is nothing but getting samadhi. The mind goes beyond the sahasrara and one realizes oneness. One realizes, like Sri Ramakrishna told, that till the time mind is even at this Ajna chakra, ego doesn't leave. It is only when it raises above the 7th plane that the ego totally gets crushed, because then there is no me and you. There is no difference between the Jivatman and the Paramatman. The veil of Maya gets totally uplifted. But it is extremely difficult to attain such knowledge, Sri Ramakrishna says. That is one cautionary note, cautionary advice that Sri Ramakrishna is giving. One must make an effort to get that knowledge. One must make an effort to raise the mind to the level of Sahasrara and beyond. Although it is extremely difficult, but at least we should make an effort towards it. It might be extremely difficult. Sri Ramakrishna says so. It is extremely difficult, but that should not prevent the devotees, that should not prevent the spiritual aspirants to make an effort of raising their minds above these chakras. That is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to us, that how upadhis, they create a barrier between us and the Lord. They create the barriers between Lakshmana and Rama by way of Sita being there in the middle. They create the barrier of our seeing Sri Ramakrishna, who is sitting right in front of us. Because he has put the towel in front of him, we cannot see him. So let us all pray, let the towel be removed. Let us all pray. Let Sita make slight way for Lakshmana to see Sri Ram. Let this upadhis, they go away so that the Jivatman can become one with the Paramatman. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.